up everybody, welcome back to the Art of Crypto, the birthplace of absolutely legendary gains. In this video, we are going to talk about Bitcoin and what is going to happen in the immediate future, at least what I think is going to happen. And what I think is going to happen is probably going to mess up a lot of you if you do not watch this video, because not many of you understand how the market makers like to manipulate the markets. So if you want to figure out exactly how not to get caught in anything that might harm you and be able to take advantage of whatever that's going to happen, you're going to want to watch till the end of this video. But before I dive right into it, if you haven't already followed me on Twitter at _theartofcrypto, you're going to want to do so. This is where I'm sharing just in real-time market updates, tips, and any coins and any trades that I might be looking at. For example, XRM and Solve, which I called, which is up 65% yesterday, I believe. So definitely follow me on Twitter at _theartofcrypto. Before I dive right into this video though, I do have to apologize for last week. I have not been around much because, well, I've been changing a lot of things in the Discord group and just changing, sort of like planning out how I'm going to do my content in the future. But I'm back now, and this video is going to be more of a short-term analysis on Bitcoin and what I think is going to happen and what I can see is already happening right now. So without any further ado, let's just dive right into it, yeah? So I rarely ever, in fact, the last time I went onto the 1 hourly chart on a YouTube video was probably a few months ago. So this is definitely going to be more of a short-term video. And for those of you who are watching after this has happened, what I discuss is about to happen, still watch this because there are things that you will learn about how the market makers like to do things. So without any further ado, let's just start off by saying that Bitcoin is forming a range right now. And the thing that you have to understand about markets is that markets always move in phases of expansions, and then you have ranges, right? Consolidations. This is what I always say in my channel, in my videos. So right now you have a range, and you never want to be trading a range because this is where you get chopped up. Look at this. If you didn't know what you were doing, Bitcoin's been moving like 3-4%, basically in 2-hour candles, right? And this is not the kind of environment you want to be trading if you do not know what you're doing. So the first rule of a range is try not to trade them. Instead, you want to trade what happens as it exits the range. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. So whenever you get a range buildup, right, I want you to think of it this way. Let's just go back to a previous example. And I know this is just hindsight. This guy doesn't actually know what he's talking about. Listen, I've been talking about how to trade ranges for weeks, months, basically since I started my YouTube channel. So go back and watch it. I talk about this all the time. So whenever you get a range formation, right, let me just draw it right here. That right there, that's your swing high, right? Because that's the tallest candle in between the 3 candles, right? And this is your swing low or swing lows in this case. So whenever you get a range formation, I always want you to understand the fact that whenever this happens, you will get a buildup of liquidity on the range high, above the range high and below the range low. So what I mean by that is simply whenever you get equal lows like this, retail and everybody else who doesn't know what the market makers are doing are going to be like, this is strong support. So I'm going to go long here and I'm going to place my stop loss right below here. And the thing about this kind of an approach is the fact that you're not the only one that knows this, right? The market makers know this. So always, whenever you see equal lows and equal highs, always expect them to get ran through or swept, whatever you want to put, the terminology. This is what you call a liquidity hunt. Because when everybody is placing their stop loss at a very similar level, the market makers know this, right? They have access to exchange data. They have access to liquidation data, stop loss data, whatever. They know what you're thinking. And the thing about this market is you have to understand that 90% of people are losing traders. So, the more you know. So look what happens afterwards, right? You run through, you run the lows and then you run the highs right there. The retail traders might look at this and, support has been broken. Let's short. And then that's where you get messed up. I hope you see the issue with just retail, retail support resistance trading terminology, theory, without applying any market maker knowledge into this. So similarly, this right here, this is not a one-time thing, okay? This happens all the time, this right here, this is another range right here, right? You get your equal lows right here, right? You get your equal highs up here. You run the highs. Listen, watch this, right? Watch this. You run the highs. People are going to be thinking, you just broke through resistance. So you're going to go to new all-time highs. You long here and you absolutely get screwed. You just absolutely get messed up. And then you run the lows right there. This is a very, it repeats itself all the time. like all the time. So right now, whenever you see a range like this, I want you to listen to me. These highs are going to be run, okay? And the reason why they are going to be run is, to put it simply for you guys who do not yet believe the market maker, theory, let me bring up the Bitcoin futures, and I want you to take a look at this gap that we have right here, right? We have let me just go onto the daily chart actually. So we have a CME futures gap over here, and the daily close of this CME futures gap before last weekend was at 53,400. So expect, right, gaps always get filled, right? Inefficiencies in the market always get filled, which you could argue like, hey, you have an inefficiency right here. So are you going to fill that? Well, that's, that inefficiency is sitting at about 35,000 to 34,400 and 33,000. So are we going to go that low? Honestly, as of right now, I do not know yet. Okay. As of right now, I do not know yet. There is a possibility, but what I need is a little bit more time for price action to develop itself, right? I can't read this chart right here, a little bit more time, and I will be able to identify if this is going to happen, right? Are we going back down to the low 30Ks? And if that is something that happens, we have to look even further, right? We have gaps over here. We have gaps over here that have not been filled. And who knows, we might go all the way back to 20K. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. In fact, I am betting on the fact that it's not going to happen because I am still, buying the dips. If you want to, follow along with the latest, market updates that might happen on this YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and make sure you turn on the notification bell to get notified. For now, this video is going to be more of a short-term analysis for Bitcoin. In fact, let me go back to, let me just go back to Bitcoin. And now that I've, explained how this range works, you need to understand what's going to happen next. But right before I get into that, I'm going to link a video on the top right hand corner. It is a live stream that I did yesterday, going through sort of like a post crypto market dump analysis, right? And I just gave a lot of tips and tricks and just things to watch out for and just stuff that you guys would want to know, right? After going through something like this, I know everyone is affected, including me, right? I did not predict this would happen at all. I was fully deployed at 47K and 49K. Was not expecting at all for this to go to 42K, but obviously Elon Musk does, because he did predict that Bitcoin would find its top at 69 and find its bottom at 420, right? That's 42,000. This candle ended straight spot on at 42,000, right? I want you to look at the top left hand corner. You can see the low ended at 42,000. But that's besides the point. This is not something that I was expecting, and if you have been affected, you are going to find that live stream extremely helpful. I go through, an update of many coins, including, not limited to Bitcoin, Ethereum, you've got Solana, you've got a bunch of other coins, FTM, and just tips and tricks, So make sure you check out that video after you watch this video. So now to get into the juicy part is what I think is going to happen next, and as this range develops and how you guys can take advantage of it. So this is something that I already shared in my private Discord group, but for those of you, in this video right now, actually, let me just go open that link real quick because it's going to be a little bit more clear. So what you want to visualize here, okay, is this is what I think. I already have a premium. Why would you want me to start a free? It's okay. So yeah, so this is my analysis of things and how I think it's going to go. So I predicted that it's going to come down here, right? And then find support to come back up all the way here. So far, that has happened, right? Watch this, right? You come down here and then you go all the way back up here to this order block right here. So we've already fulfilled the first one. If you were in the private group, you would have been able to take advantage of this perfectly. I called this perfectly. And right now, next up, this is what I think is going to happen, right? You're going to go down a little bit, right? To sweep the lows, because remember, the lows always get swept, always. And after you sweep the lows, you're going to range there a little bit, right? Maybe you form another mini range down here, right? At about 45K to 46K, between that range. And then as you exit the range, so basically, right, the first entry is going to be here, which you guys already missed because, I made this video a little bit late, but otherwise, the second entry, if you were going for a long, it's risky. It's risky here, okay? This part right here, it's risky, but you could take it as well. But I have to put that out there, right? It's risky entry because market conditions are definitely leaning towards bearish. And when, as I always like to say, as a trader, you want to trade with the trend, right? The trend is your friend. You never want to trade against the trend. At the moment, the trend is bearish. So, you look for shorts. But, nonetheless, this could be an entry that you want to take as well. So you're going to form like a mini range here. And then before you break out of the range, you're going to do one sweep of the mini range lows. And then you're going to start targeting these range highs over here. and then you're going to fill in the CME futures at 53,400. So let me just go through how I, again, this, just this stuff that I have explained right just now about how highs and lows get swept, right? And then just do not get fooled by these market makers, because once you break this, this previous low right here, retail's most likely going to think, oh no, you just broke support, you're bearish, it's time to short. And that's how you're going to get absolutely messed up. So if we really do dump down here, okay, this candle right here, let me just go back to this chart, right? If we do dump from here, right? If we do dump from here, then what you're going to get is this is going to become your zone of supply, right here. This is going to become your zone of supply, right? Which is called your bearish order block, okay? If you do sweep the lows right here, I want you to completely disregard this zone of supply right here, because in my opinion, every time you move out of a range, you always sweep both highs and lows. So after, you could take the trade, you could take a short here if you wanted to. If you wanted to, I wouldn't, because if we really do dump from here, then I do believe that this zone of supply is going to be irrelevant, because we are going to, order flow is going to be bullish, and we're going to target the highs, sweep the highs before potentially coming back down, okay? So completely disregard this one. Okay, if we do sweep the lows, after you sweep the lows, you're going to go sweep the highs, and yeah, actually right here, just right here, right? So as you can see right here, bearish order block will fail to hold, and that's where you get a bullish breakout entry, right? And by that is after you sweep the highs, you're not going to they're not going to want to make it easy for you, right? So after you sweep the highs, people are going to be thinking, oh, you're breaking off the range, it's time to go long, and that's where you are going to get messed up again. So do not go long after you break this one, go long here, okay? After you break the range highs, right, you can actually look for a short, right? Just short at this previous high right here, which is about 49,700. Put your stop loss 1 or 2%, probably closer to 2%, right? And then target the bullish breaker, okay? The bullish breaker is going to be, in this case, if this only applies if we start dumping here, okay? This only applies if we start dumping here. The bullish breaker is going to be at 48,700, okay? That's where you're going to go long to target 53,400. Now, I know I'm thinking very far ahead, but this is stuff that repeats itself a lot in the markets. And if you want to learn more about this kind of stuff, I'm not trying to shill this, but I do have, a course in here that you can learn about this. And not only that, I am in the process currently of remaking the course that is going to bring, I truly want to make this the best trading course in crypto, period, right? It might not be the most comprehensive, but I want to make it so that once you go through that trading course, you are going to be profitable, guaranteed. So again, this is going to be scenario number 1, right? And now let's talk about scenario number 2, which I drew out as well. So clearly this has been invalidated, because this scenario is predicated on the fact that we are going to run the previous highs before, just going straight up to fill in the CME futures gap. So this invalidated. So this is going to be scenario 3, which is invalidated as well, because clearly we have, it's not really invalidated, but again, this, just goes back to what I just taught about, range highs and range lows, which is, once you break the range high, do not get fooled into longing into, resistance, actually short there, right? Place your stop loss above, and then you target this range low right here, right? And this is going to give you a very good risk to reward ratio if you're looking at this. And the stuff that I just shared in my videos, make sure you're taking notes, okay? I'm not even kidding that this is valuable stuff, right? Not many people talk about this. In fact, rarely do you see people talking about this on YouTube. I'm not conceited, I promise you. If I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comment section. But I don't see too many people talking about these market maker theories. So make sure you're taking notes, and if you're confused about what's going to happen next, make sure you replay this video a little bit. And, I talk a lot, I'm planning out the next few steps. It's not necessarily going to happen exactly the way I predicted, but the fundamentals, right? The theory, the concepts still apply, right? It's same concepts. Every time you break out of the range, you always sweep the highs and you sweep the lows before you if you are in a bearish order flow, right, which is a bearish trend, then you're going to continue downwards, which means you're probably going to sweep the highs first, and then you're going to sweep the lows, and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's going to be a lot to talk about if I continue on about this. But just understand that every time you break out of a range, depending on whether you are in an accumulation or distribution phase, that is where the trend is going to go from there. Okay. And if you want to get more of these market maker updates, as well as just market updates, as well as any coins that I might be looking at, including the crypto gems that I believe can 10x to 100x next year, as well as just get access to all my trades that I might be calling, as well as just, not falling prey to whatever just happened. Like whatever happened, yesterday, the day before, everyone is affected, but I'd say the people in this Discord group have been affected much, much less. So in fact, all of you guys who are watching my videos should be not too affected, because I've been talking about this for weeks, literally weeks. I've been saying that this was going to be the bottom for weeks, man. I don't know, man. I just hope you guys are not affected. If I have somehow saved your life, if I've somehow saved you from incurring many losses on Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whatever altcoin market that you might be looking at, if I have saved you, please just comment down in the comment section below. Drop a like on the video, really helps me a lot. I'll make sure to show appreciation to every single comment. But for this video, there's going to be no bonus trade because every coin looks the same right now, right? The charts look exactly the same. So let's not try to trade this. My tip for all of you guys watching until this point, instead of a bonus trade, I'm going to give you a bonus tip. Whenever you find yourself in a ranging market, always be patient, right? Be very patient until you get that breakup structure, right? Until you get the sweep of the range lows or the range highs. You never ever want to trade in a ranging market. We could range for like 2 months, right? Don't trade it. Do not trade this, okay? This is where your money is going to get chopped up, right? Your money is going to get eaten up by these market makers and nobody's going to feel sorry for you, okay? You heard it here first. If this is going to range for 2 more months, then do not trade for 2 more months, okay? Chances of you losing money during that 2 months is going to be incredibly high. You do not need to be trading. You do not need to be in a position at every given moment as a trader. Okay, not every day is going to be a good trading day. Not every month is going to be a good trading month. For example, December is probably not going to be a good trading month. Whereas the period from July up till like November, amazing, right? We got fireworks, we had a lot of fun. So now, all right, understand that if you just got into the crypto markets right now, you are both late and early to the party. Late as in, you missed all the juicy parts that happened the last few months, but you are early in the sense that, macro wise, right? Maybe in the next 6 months wise, this is going to be a very good buying opportunity for you. So make sure you take advantage of it and buy some, okay? Do not buy into everyone's fear, right? Everyone just went through something like very catastrophic and, emotions are not going to feel right now. But if there is one thing that you will come to understand the longer that you are in crypto is the fact that whenever you buy when fear is very high, it always tends to end up in profit given enough time, right? So give it 2 to 3 months, you are going to be in very massive profit. And if you want the rest of the tips, make sure you watch that live stream that I shared yesterday. It's going to be very valuable. I will link it on the top right hand corner. But for now, may the gains be with you, my friend, and peace.